On February 14th, 2021, LA Knight had signed with the WWE, and since day one, he's been able to own every spotlight that was upon him. His promos were unique to the WWE standard. His charisma was unlike any other. LA Knight was a man that understood the WWE formula. He had the look, the confidence, the mic skills, and the understanding of how to get the crowd behind him. But even with all that being done on his own, WWE and many other wrestling companies that he's ever worked for has never found the belief that he's made to become a world champion. Hola everyone, my name is Nando, and for today's video, I'm here to dive into the topic of LA Knight and why I think there's just gonna be no chance of him ever being a world champion. Now, to be clear, this is by no means a hate video. I am not downplaying LA Knight's abilities, as I am an LA Knight fan myself. This video is solely going to be talking about his career in WWE and how, despite how hard he works in trying to be that top guy, WWE just sees no future in him being the world champion. So let's just cut all the yap and get on with the video. It all started on NXT's Vengeance Day in 2021, where LA Knight came on the pre-show to announce his presence to the world. And that moment is only half of what was memorable about his NXT run. His most memorable program came when he started a feud with Cameron Grimes, starting the feud off by having Ted DiBiase join alongside Knight. Then at NXT's In Your House, LA Knight and Grimes fought in a ladder match to crown themselves the old $1 Million Championship, a match that LA Knight went on to win. And just when you thought the partnership was going somewhere, LA Knight was like, "Knight, I'm done with you now." What? So LA Knight turns on Ted DiBiase, feeling as though he had no need for him anymore. Which is such a shame, because Ted always referred to LA Knight as son, because he possibly felt that way about him. But it's okay in the end, because Ted still has another son. Oh, fuck. Oh, that's rough. But it's okay. Ted still has another son. Oh, come on! This feud lasted for a few months and all ended with Cameron Grimes winning the belt from him at NXT TakeOver 36. And then later on, when NXT rebranded itself to NXT 2.0, NXT on its very first episode had LA Knight losing to the new up-and-coming Braun Breaker at the start of the show. Then later he had to main event a match for the newly crowned NXT champion, and he got pinned there too. Seriously, he's a star. Why does he keep eating these pins? He also had another opportunity for the NXT champion by facing Dolph Ziggler of all people, but bro fumbled that chance too. Now, while LA Knight had a fairly underwhelming run in NXT, I think we can all agree that LA Knight's biggest rivalry throughout his entire career thus far is, well, his very own company trying to fire him. That's right, folks, because throughout 2021 and 2022, WWE was cutting and going through so many mass releases, especially from people who were still in NXT. Guys like Dexter Lumis, Bronson Reed, Dakota Kai, Samoa Joe, the list goes on. And throughout many of the major cuts that WWE was trying to make, LA Knight was revealed to be constantly on that list. The only reason his release would be prevented is because Shawn Michaels revealed in an interview that he was constantly making excuses to keep him, saying that he needed LA Knight for storylines. And you got to be really special of a talent where your release is constantly being stopped. Now, why was WWE so desperate to fire LA Knight so badly? Well, hilariously and unironically enough, they just thought LA Knight was a bit too old. That's right, because even while LA Knight was pictured, at least in my eyes, the most WWE looking guy out of all WWE guys, WWE saw none of that because he was 38 years old. Which, you know, come to think of it, that honestly sounds reasonable, because WWE is all about building towards the future. They want to focus on building the new stars of today. They don't focus on those old people that are nearly reaching or going past 50 years old. WWE's not known for that sort of thing because they pride themselves on helping fresh young talent, getting them on in the spotlight. Sorry guys, I just really need to get that out of my chest. But with LA Knight's NXT run being done and dusted, it was time for the main roster. With Raw and SmackDown being filled with such exciting programs for him to have. LA Knight versus AJ Styles, LA Knight versus Edge. Imagine LA Knight standing off against the world champion Roman Reigns. Imagine him having a promo battle with John Cena. The opportunities with him are endless. Okay, alright, I'm ready. Tell us what he's going to be doing first.
Sorry, what was your name again? It's Max Dupree. Pleasure to meet you, Max Dupree. No, Max Dupree.
Are you you serious? You can't! You just can't! How? Why? Why? Why do you hate your own talent? Alright, let's just get through this. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Max Dupree, who was a modeling agent who had created affection under the new name of Maximum Male Models, aligning himself with his sister, Maxine Dupree, Mansoir, and Marseille. And what makes it worse was this character of LA Knight was never going to wrestle, because he was going to be a manager. What are we doing here, man? And then have him do segments together with his group where LA Knight would show up how hot his models were. Look, I don't know. And then LA Knight went on to later express in the most calm and respectful way possible on how much he hated the character. He admits that he tried his best to get the character working in Vince's vision, but he knew he just couldn't fulfill it. And that costed him TV time, and LA Knight had already accepted the fact that he was possibly going to lose his job soon. Which probably would have happened, but it only got stopped because of the one and only. On July 25th, 2022, Triple H had replaced Vince McMahon to become the new head of creative. This became the huge turning point for WWE, as the company was finally going to feel consistent with its storylines again and not constantly rely on one face of the company. And this improvement alone came at the huge benefit of LA Knight. With the new regime coming in, LA Knight was confident enough to tell Triple H, "Hey, so this character, I hate it! Can I go back to being me now?" And that's just what happened, as LA Knight immediately broke up with his model group and went solo, and nothing could have prepared us for his perfect program with the one and only Bray Wyatt. I say perfect program for LA Knight. Well, I think this is probably the worst choice for Bray Wyatt himself. So for context, Bray Wyatt returned at Extreme Rules 2021, which was over a year later since he was released by Vince McMahon. The return was perfect. He came on SmackDown to express how much he appreciates that the fans still missed him. But then his speech got interrupted by a man named Uncle Howdy, who was played by his brother Bo Dallas, and unfortunately, due to Bray Wyatt's passing, we could just never see how the story fully played out. But from what I could gather, Uncle Howdy was meant to be this devil on Bray's shoulder, trying to get Bray to be this monster that he once was, while Bray was trying to simply move past it. But unfortunately, and with all respect, the story just didn't translate well on TV, as most of the segments made fans feel more clueless than glued to the storyline. I felt that way included. And that problem with Bray Wyatt's storyline only elevated LA Knight, because with Bray Wyatt's star power, he helped shine a brighter light on LA Knight, as he was able to get more eyes on him, and LA Knight's character was a more easy character to digest and understand more than Bray's. And this feud led to the infamous Mountain Dew Pitch Black match. Look, I get it, man, chase your bag, but we really doing this on Bray Wyatt's first match back? Sure, why not? So Bray Wyatt then dragged LA Knight to the side of the stage, just so Uncle Howdy can take a dive and quite obviously miss by a whole mile. Some fire blew up, and that was that! Okay. But after this program, LA Knight went on to look like a complete megastar. Every single week, the more he showed up, the crowd got louder for him. They were chanting his name. They clicked with his catchphrase. LA Knight was reaching top 5 to #1 most merch sales in the company. Then Triple H saw all the fan feedback and was like, yes guys, I hear you guys loud and clear. I know what you guys really want. Okay, let's do this. Let's give you guys Damian Priest. Who's with me? Yeah, so at Money in the Bank 2023, the 7-man ladder match had LA Knight coming out as the most over guy in the match. He was even told that he sold the most merch on that show, and yet he was still booked to come off short and gave Damian Priest the win. Why? Just why would you do such a thing, Triple H?
I know LA Knight was a massive favorite coming in tonight, continuing that ascent, Great things come to those who wait.
If you guys have watched this video, you would know why this statement is a lie. Because while Damian went on to have a great cash-in, he had a pretty underwhelming world title run, in which not many people, including me, believed he was ready for it, and now since losing the belt, he just feels like another guy on the roster. Glad that investment was worth it, Trips. But after that debacle, LA Knight went on to win his biggest achievement yet. He won the Slim Jim Battle Royal! Woo! He then entered a short feud with The Miz, which involved John Cena helping him get the win and giving him the good old rub. And this should have been a big sign that LA Knight should have been your top guy, because John Cena will make a dead body out of a wrestler if he can sense that your character sucks. Roman, Theory, Solo, he disowned those dudes because he could see their characters needed better development. Meanwhile, Cena did none of that with Knight because he could see that LA Knight believes in his character.
Man, he has worked to get his talent. He is the embodiment of perseverance and hard work. I like that over preparation. I like that belief in self. He is authentically LA Knight. Like, I believe everything he does.
And that leverage helped LA Knight get into a program with the world champion known as Roman Reigns. And I cannot lie, guys, this may have been the worst timing to get a feud with Roman Reigns for the world title. Now, don't get me wrong, getting a feud with a champion that's the face of the company, that's a big opportunity to have. Unfortunately, this came at the time where after Roman defeated Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania 39, he just stopped caring. 2023 was a big dip in Roman's character as he showed up less than less, but every time he did show up, it seemed like he was more disinterested than ever. And you can't even say that I'm wrong, because let's not forget about that iconic Rock Cody Roman storyline, because while it was the best WWE feud in forever, the biggest criticism the story got was how little Roman was involving himself. So LA Knight did the best he could to get himself over, but the feud just really didn't help. Roman won, and that was that. LA Knight then entered the 2024 Money in the Bank ladder match, and guess what happened? He was the most over guy in the match, but what happened next? Patience! He fell short and Drew McIntyre won. Yes, Drew's win did help elevate his great and legendary CM Punk feud, but my gosh, I just felt bad for Knight, man. But then again, LA Knight will get invited to the 2025 Money in the Bank match, and wow, this has been the least likely Money in the Bank match that LA Knight has ever had a chance of winning. And I was fine with that. But you know what was really frustrating about this? It's the fact that they did the same spot where LA Knight falls second short from winning the briefcase. This is the third year in a row that they keep trolling LA Knight fans. Why does WWE love punishing fans or wrestlers that get themselves over? So Seth cashed in the briefcase to win the world champion, and LA Knight said he decides to be the first challenger as he was the last person to beat Seth Rollins. But then ended in DQ as CM Punk attacked Seth Rollins, which caused a lot of tension between both Punk and Knight. And this has been a feud that's been slowly brewing for a few months. And after Seth got injured when he was supposed to face CM Punk for the title at Saturday night's main event, Raw had made a battle royal to decide who gets to face Punk for the vacant title. And before the match, Punk said,
World Heavyweight Championship against the
which is the most diabolical thing to say, because bro knew exactly what was about to happen as Jey Uso eliminated LA Knight and went on to win the whole battle royal. So here's the thing, I'm mad, but I'm not really mad. I'm mad that it's Jey, but it makes sense that it's Jey, because LA Knight and Punk have been brewing the storyline through the start of Seth Rollins winning the world champion, and naturally both men have potential to pull off a really great program together, and you wouldn't want that to go to waste by immediately having a match together just days later. Plus, LA Knight had already made his word that he's going after whoever wins the world champion at Saturday night's main event, which I don't know why he deserves. He's been losing like all of his matches. But the thing is though, since that Jey Uso won, it's led me to be fully convinced that I was right about where LA Knight's future was headed in WWE. And that is, no matter how far he goes, he is never winning a world champion. And I know that sounds harsh, but just hear me out. Within every new person that comes into a wrestling promotion, in our minds already, we already have a big prediction of where their future is headed. Whether they're meant for the main event scene, the mid-card scene, the jobber scene, etc, etc. But in my eyes, I could just tell that there was a ceiling with LA Knight's future. And it's not even an LA Knight problem, it's just no matter what company he goes to, they never seem to put their full investment into him. LA Knight was Eli Drake in TNA, and even while he was their world champion, he was still not the main focus of their brand, and he felt that, and that was one of the main reasons that made him resent the company.
So ironic, because you were the world champion in that other place.
Yeah, well, that didn't mean anything because about 3 people were watching the show apparently. So
Shawn Michaels saw a bright light in LA Knight, but not enough to ever give him the NXT champion. And And before you go, the NXT champion is meant for the younger guys, not the older talents. Samoa Joe and Bobby Roode and Dolph Ziggler all say hi, by the way. And it's happening here with Triple H too. Now let me make this very clear. Is LA Knight buried? No, of course not. Far from it. He's one of Raw's top guys. He's in the main event world title picture, feuding with the top stars of the company. The only problem is that he is now being resorted to being the upper mid card that sometimes dwells around the main event scene, but the company doesn't have a real future plan to strap the company around him. He's just there to put over the other guys, because that's why he's going to be Punk's first world title feud, because the company can trust that he can do a good job. To explain LA Knight's run in WWE, this is going to sound really dumb, but I'm going to explain it in a swimming pool analogy. Just stay with me now. You know when a swimming pool has two layers, with one half being the safe side where all the kids can play safely, and then you get the deeper side of the pool where all the adults can chill in because they know how to control themselves on water? So you go to swim with your family by the pool, but you're on the safe side while the rest of your family members are by the deep side. So then you ask, can I go to the deep side of the pool? Because you want to feel as cool as them for being at that side. So then your parents drag you while you're holding on to your pool ring. You get a nice swift of what it feels like to be on the deep side, but when it's all done and dusted, you know what happens? You get pushed off back to the safe side. And that's LA Knight. I hope you guys understood that. I hope I get proven wrong, but it just seems like with the current direction of the company, the main world title focus will be going towards Seth Rollins, CM Punk, Jey Uso, and Braun Breaker. And who is going to help elevate those guys to keep them as the main focus of the product? Well, you already know the answer to that. I wish nothing but the best for LA Knight, because I know he's trying so hard to be the company guy. But that's all from me, folks. Let me know down in the comments on what topic I should cover next. And I also want to thank you guys for 61 subs. Let's freaking go, guys. Our channel has been growing so well, so fast, and I'm happy that you guys are enjoying the content. Let's get to 65 subs. Subscribe now. Like the video if you enjoyed. Ciao!